I'm Mike Wondolowski, and for a number of years I've been involved with Carpinteria Valley Association. They're an organization that's involved with a number of development issues and environmental protection issues in Carpinteria. Through the 80s and into the early 90s, there was a lot of development pressures on Carpinteria, and there was some really interesting history that we're going to talk about here today. So I'm going to be talking with Brad Stein, who was personally involved in a lot of that, and ask him some questions and to reminisce a little bit about what Carpinteria was, what it might have been, and what it turned out to be. So, hey Brad, good to talk to you.
Mike, good to be here. Thank you.
So, the 1990 was really kind of an inflection point in the history of Carpinteria. Mm-hmm. It was a point where the path that the city was on was taking us in one direction, and you were involved in changing that path a bit, taking us to a much different place today.
I'm somebody that if you're going to do something, don't talk about it, do it. So I ran for city council at that time, and the Bluffs was just on the horizon. And CVA was, Lois Seidenberg back then, was organizing to try and stop this Bluffs project, because basically what it was going to do was double the size of the city in this one fell swoop over there. Back in the day, cities would incentivize developers, they still do today to some extent, no development impact fees. The citizens of Carpinteria would help pay for curbs, gutters, sidewalks, all the infrastructure, schools, whatever needed to be added.
Streetlights.
The whole...
Water, sewer, those are districts, but still.
All of that stuff. Development would cause that, but people wanted developers to come in because they thought this is the way tax dollars were going to be produced, property tax-wise.
Yeah.
Why are the citizens paying for all this when the developers, they're going to charge the same amount of money that it costs to have them put the infrastructure in, only they're not going to make as big a profit. We were just padding their profits.
Exactly.
And, oh, you can't do that. We were told you can't do that. You know, no one will come and develop. What a misnomer.
That hasn't been a big problem since then.
No. Yes.
The new council took a seat after the 1990 election, so early 1991, and there's some stories about the lame duck old council after the election, before the swearing in of the new council. They approved the Bluffs project, the hotel plus commercial, retail, plus some other stuff and some residential and all kinds of stuff.
350 unit
condos. Huge sprawling development.
We would have had a gas station and a Jack in the Box.
Exactly. So that they approved that as a lame duck council, and it was pending at the Coastal Commission.
Yes.
And then the new council got sworn in. And what happened then?
Don and I, after we were sworn in that night after the meeting, drove to San Diego to appear in front of the Coastal Commission because they were supposed to vote on it the next day. And we were there with the approval of the council to pull it off their agenda. And so we went down there. God, it was a long night. And then the next day, spent the whole day at the hearing, and finally spoke to a couple of the members during a break saying, listen, this isn't what the city wants to have happen down here. We are the city council now, or on the city council now. And they pulled it off their agenda and sent it back to us.
So then that project was shot down.
Yes.
But obviously the bus was still in private hands.
Yes.
Walk us briefly through what the rest of that process. There was a public fundraising campaign, and there was a whole bunch going on. I know you can't possibly explain it all.
Right.
But give us that summary of what happened between there and 98.
Okay. After being in court for 3 days and the judge tossed in the lawsuit, I slept better after that. The community came up. They were trying to present another plan, and Dorothy Campbell, we saw how big the crowd was. You know, probably 300-400 people for this. It's big. We ended up having it in the gymnasium at the middle school. And I remember Dorothy Campbell standing up saying, you know, let's buy this place. And she waved like $1 or $10 or something around there. And that was really the start of the groundswell. And all of a sudden, everybody organized. I mean, CVA, Ted Rhodes was big in it, Arturo Teo. I mean, my mom and dad, they would go to farmers market and sell sweatshirts, or the avocado festival. everybody did their part to raise money to buy this Bluffs. And the Citizens of the Bluffs formed, and we ended up buying it for the community.
And they had a certain amount of money to raise
Yes.
on a remarkably short time
I
frame.
think it was a year. They
It
gave
was
us a year.
even
or two.
less. I
It was a
I
really
don't remember the
short,
details, but it was
short
like
period.
less than a year to raise $1 million.
Oh, even more.
If
right?
Ted was here, he'd shoot me. I should know this by heart. But it's
No,
his
don't
line.
listen to Ted.
We had this long to raise this many dollars. We had to raise
It
so many
was-
dollars a day.
It was incredible.
And they did it.
The whole CVA board, everybody there, everybody in the community. I mean, honestly, this was a community effort, which shows we may be a small community, but we can do this. You know, put our minds to it and do this.